Hey everybody, welcome to the TNR show. My name's Trennan. That's Ryan. Say what's up, Ryan.
Hey, what's up?
Look, I'm excited for today's episode. I'm excited for episode 7. We've seen a sharp increase views all over the platform, so I'm liking that and hoping that some of y'all are sharing and liking and subscribing. So keep that up. I wanted to do a quick plug. Just continue to do all those things. We're going to keep sending it out to people, putting it on everywhere we can, spreading the love, spread the news. If you want to help us out, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook. That'd be a big thing for us. Help us out a little bit. Keep sharing, sharing, sharing. We do a lot of work, a lot of research, a lot of time we spend watching the highlights in the sports, even though most of the time I probably watch them anyway. But nevertheless, keep supporting me and Ryan so we can keep doing what we do. Not that we're going anywhere, but you know what I mean. Just keep supporting us, help to grow the
We like the
podcast.
sport.
Yeah, that's right. Some other quick things I want to cover before fan questions. If you got a question, man, send in the daggum question. Okay, I mean, there's no way that none of y'all are just perfectly satisfied with the sports world right now. If you want to hear me talk about sports that you are personally invested in, send in the question. You want me to answer and Ryan to answer a question about the Pittsburgh Penguins' chances against the Washington Capitals? I don't even know that's a thing next week. But if it is, you want me to talk about it, you gotta let me know. If you wanna anything, we'll talk about any sports related question, probably any other with the Queen of England question. I talked about that in episode 5. So um, look out for that. Betting picks are on my Instagram. So we got TNR betting picks. Right now, I think we're like dead even. I think we're like 3-3. So that's
Yeah.
pretty good. I
Okay.
got another one rolling tonight, Utah -5. So y'all can come back next week to see if that paid off. But if you're interested in that, be checking out my Twitter. Is there anything else that you're doing, Ryan? Or is that about it?
And that's about it. Ready to dig right on in.
Dig right on in. We shall. And I'm excited for today's episode, mainly because, well, two reasons. You got a lot of good recruiting. For some reason, it seems like recruiting really bumped up this week.
Oh
Seems
yeah.
like there's a ton of recruiting news. I don't know what in the world happened last week to make every recruit in the country be like, "Let's go!" But so we're excited about that. Basketball season is heating up big time. So obviously the SEC tournament starts next week. I believe the ACC tournament, Big Ten tournament, and the Pac-12 and the Big 12 all start next week, or at least next week, because Arkansas plays A&M this Saturday. So next week they start up. So we're excited about that. March Madness coming up. Bum, 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 bum. We got March Madness coming up, so I'm excited about that. Tons of college stuff, basketball stuff coming your way, and football. Furman lost. I'm going to take heat for that later in the episode, so keep looking out for that. Um, all the South Carolina teams lost, so our state stinks other than Clemson
All of them.
and Coastal Carolina.
Yeah.
So I don't want to
Coastal
hear it. You
Clemson.
defended Wofford last week. I'm gonna have a defense. I've already got it prepared. I
Yeah,
didn't
go
talk to you
for it.
about this
Go for it.
pregame, but I'm ready. But I'm excited about that. So we got a lot of FCS talk coming up. It's been pretty entertaining so far. North Dakota State, little spoiler ahead, lost this weekend. 30, how many games was it? Streak?
39, which was an FCS record.
So 39 games for North Dakota State probably won't be touched by anybody else for a long time. Couldn't imagine them doing it. So again, well, they might, but you never know. But so we got a bit jam-packed episode. I hope you stay tuned. All the information we got coming your way. We've got a great episode, so let's get right into it, shall we?
Let's go for it.
All right, college basketball. You know my big college basketball spiel. I'm gonna hit some points real fast. Talk about some quick recaps of the last week. Some important games I think that are notable. So I want to talk about. So Baylor lost. Kansas beat Baylor. Kind of a barn burner game. Not really a barn burner. Kansas, kind of if I seen the highlights correctly, kind of came out, kind of hit him in the mouth from the beginning, and then Baylor didn't respond well. So a lot of people were saying that Baylor had the COVID brain. They were off a lot of rust. See, Baylor didn't have the time to practice. I heard a report today that Baylor didn't have practice during COVID. So when they played Iowa State, they kind of just jumped right into it. So they barely beat the very lowly Cyclones, only have 2 wins on the season. And then they lose to Kansas. But they respond well yesterday against West Virginia in overtime. And you see this kind of flip between Baylor and Michigan, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Gonzaga's out there, they do their thing, whatever. we'll see what they do when they start face like in the Sweet 16 or the 8th seed, anything of that nature.
Oh yeah.
But for now, I mean, Ryan, everybody yesterday, Michigan. Michigan played. Who did they play over
Illinois
there?
lost a
No, they played Illinois. Who did they play over the week? They had a big game over the
over
weekend.
the weekend.
Oh, Iowa. They played Iowa. They
Iowa
pounded Iowa into the dirt. And
top 10 team.
everybody was on Michigan. Everybody was Michigan, 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 especially after Baylor lost this past Saturday. Everybody was Michigan, Michigan, Michigan. But then you look at it, West Virginia, Baylor wins yesterday in pretty impressive fashion at West Virginia with fans, 20%. They win yesterday in West Virginia. And then Michigan gets pounded by the Illinois Fighting Illini. So you see this kind of flip between Baylor and Michigan. Who's the number one team in the country? Is it Baylor or is it Michigan? And Ryan, I want to pose to you because you're a Big 12 guy.
All right.
The Big 12, good conference. So what does that say about Baylor being only having one loss? And that's coming off a COVID rush. You could probably blame that on COVID.
I
So
mean,
what do you think about
I
like
think
how impressive it is for them to like have go be where they're at right now?
it's very impressive. I mean, the Big 12, I think, has been the most competitive of the other conferences. I think the Big 10's close. I don't think they're quite there, but I mean, you can't take away from Kansas either. Kansas is still a very good team. Probably a top 15, maybe even a top 10 if we're really looking at it. They've dropped some games against Oklahoma, I think Texas, and several others. But Kansas is still a good team. They always recruit well. They have good coaches, good facilities. They're always good. I do also want to note that, Baylor winning last night against West Virginia clinches their regular season Big 12 championship, which is their first ever Big 12 championship. So,
And I
good
first, their
First
first
ever.
basketball one since
Yep.
when I was listening to the broadcast, they said if Baylor won, they'd get it. And it's the first one since the Southwestern Conference since I think the 1950s.
A very long time ago.
Yeah, man. My grandma may have not even been born. So that tells you really something about the trajectory of their program right now, especially seeing the Big 12 is probably the best conference of basketball right now.
Yeah. I mean, they only lost one game, and it was against a good team. You can't take away that Kansas is a good team. It's very impressive what Baylor's done all season. It's just been uber impressive. And if Gonzaga wasn't pounding easy teams week in and week out, they'd probably be the number one team.
So yeah, I mean Gonzaga. See, the problem with Gonzaga is they just beat the crap. I was gonna note the score they played somebody, beat the crap out of them. I mean, at some point, I get tired of saying it. I want to see them against a real team compete against March Madness when it gets down to the Sweet 16 or whatever. I want to see how they fare when they play a real team that's
Yep.
going to be better than San Francisco.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or Oakland.
I
You know
mean,
what I mean?
Gonzaga did play a couple of good teams early in the season, but you also have to know it was early in the season. They played Kansas. They beat Kansas. Played Iowa, beat Iowa. They were set to play Baylor, but that game got canceled. So
Yeah, I'm not gonna toot my own horn here, but if they played Arkansas right now, though, Arkansas is probably better than those teams
I agree.
than they were at that moment. That's what
I
I'm
agree.
saying. So I
Yeah.
mean, you can't Gonzaga. I mean, like you said, it's like you said there. It's too early in the season. It's too early for them to be dealing in those kind of absolutes. So I mean, Gonzaga's going to have to prove themselves in the tournament. Should they get one seed? Yes, they are undefeated. I mean,
They are undefeated.
but I haven't read any reports about them skipping the tournament yet. Their conference tournament, I don't think that'll happen. I think I saw something from them today that they might participate. I will let y'all know next week. Obviously, they'll be playing it next week, but so we'll let you know about that. But right now, Gonzaga, I mean, they're looking good. They're in a good spot. They really are.
They look good, but I'm not sure if they're going to win at all.
Yeah, we'll see about Gonzaga. So there's your top three teams, little blah blah blah, blah kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like I said, Michigan, I should hit on that real fast. Michigan got the doors beat off of them by Illinois yesterday. They got slaughtered. It wasn't a competition from the moment the clock started at 20 minutes in college basketball, right? I don't know.
Yeah, 20
minutes when it hit 20 versus 0 in the second half. It was a slaughter. So, I mean, it could have been anything. Who knows? I mean, sometimes they just have off games, but there's your top three intermingling teams that we're going to talk about for the future for the upcoming March Madness. I want to talk about Oklahoma versus Oklahoma State. Oklahoma dropped both Bedlam games, both Bedlams, making football do all the grinding. Don't roll away. You got to sit here and take your blows. I'm going to sit here on this show, and you'll sit here too. And we'll probably sit here twice, 3 times maybe.
Oh
And we'll
yeah,
have
we
to
got a lot of
suffer
time.
through Arkansas and Oklahoma and Clemson all losing in March Madness. I don't think they're going to win. I don't think those 3 teams are going to win it all. I could be wrong about Arkansas, but Oklahoma and Clemson are definitely not going to win it all. So we'll have to sit. So it's time for you to sit here and take your blows, and tell me why Oklahoma lost to Oklahoma State twice.
Honestly, I think it's Cade Cunningham.
He really is a good player,
He
man.
is a monster. He plays for Oklahoma
Best
State. He's
player
the
in the country
best player, probably the best player in college basketball. I mean,
by
he's
far.
predicted to go number one. Yeah. The first game, he scored 40 points, and then he had a double-double. I think he had like 10 rebounds as well. Didn't have as many numbers in the second game, didn't have a double-double, but was still very instrumental to winning the game. I think Oklahoma overall has a better team, but I think Oklahoma State
Has
has
the better player.
the best. Yeah, exactly. But they have the best player.
And that's what I mean, Oklahoma can have a great team, but whoever's got the best, well, that kind of, you could ask LeBron a different story, but for the most part, I mean, Kate Cunningham in those moments, I mean, they're going to lose if he does a bad game. I mean,
So
that's really
I
what it
do want to say Oklahoma State plays Baylor next.
Yeah, I have that written down.
So yeah. Go
this Saturday, I think.
It'll be fun.
I think Oklahoma, we'll get to that in a minute, but yeah, Cade Cunningham, when he played, I was watching that. I watched the Oklahoma State Oklahoma game when they played, and where's Oklahoma located at?
Norman.
Yep. Yeah, when they played in Norman, I watched it, man. The you could just see the NBA star coming out and then win that game. There's nothing you can do.
It was all him.
There's nothing you can do when that kind of power comes out. You know what I mean? There's like, you just got to stand back and be like, oh man, I hope we can survive this, because man, it's not likely.
Yeah,
He's just a great player, man. I feel bad. He beat
close, but
think about it. If he wouldn't have beat us, we would have won on like a 20-game winning streak or something like that by now.
Yeah.
Because we won like 3 games before we played Oklahoma State, and they beat us by like 2. And they're a good football. They're a good basketball team, man. I'm telling you what. Cade Cunningham, he's the truth.
He's a monster. I'm excited to see him in the NBA.
Some more Saturday basketball slates. We got Texas Tech beat Texas 68-59. I've noticed Texas is dropping a couple recently.
They dropped a couple.
Pretty back.
The Raiders are pretty good.
Yeah, Texas Tech. I mean, yeah, I saw a funny thing about the Big 12 tournament today. I have to look it up. Maybe I'll post it on my Twitter later, and I'll share it with you, Ryan. But Texas Tech is running like 9th in the country right now, but because their Big 12 schedule is kind of like, they would be in a play-in game for the Big 12 tournament. What do you think about that? That's craziness. Like, there's only think about it, there are way more good teams in the Big 12 than there are bad. I mean, Kansas State, TCU, and Iowa State, they all stink. The rest of them are all good. I don't think there's a bad one other than that, other than those 3.
Yeah, they're fantastic. Maybe West. Oh, yeah, never mind.
West Virginia's great.
Yeah, they're great. Texas Tech's great. Texas is great. Kansas, Baylor, Oklahoma State.
Yeah. So man, what a conference! Best conference in the college basketball by far.
Right now.
Now you could argue the Big 10. The Big 10 does have some good teams in it. I think like Iowa, Ohio State,
Michigan, Illinois,
Michigan State even has gotten playing a little more decent.
Yeah, they're getting up there. I think they're possibly
14-10 right now. But with those blue bloods, it could be 14 and if they make a run in the tournament, they'll get in 100%.
I think they got a shot.
And Tom Izzo always gets those teams ready to roll by the time those tournaments roll around. That's how they're always so good. That's how they always make it so far, because of how good he coaches them. But Duke is dead. I should mention that. Duke, North Carolina, and Kentucky all dead. I mean, what a great year for the Blue Bloods. You're going to find out that the one and done, I mean, the one and done works. I mean, you look at that Anthony Davis year when he went to Kentucky and they just fucking they obliterated everybody. And oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Or forgive me. But they obliterated everyone. And he was just so good. And he deserved all the credit that he got. But and sometimes it works and sometimes it just don't. And
Yeah.
this year, man, it did not work. I don't know if them people didn't want to play, if they were disinterested, whatever was going on. Something happened this year with the Blue Bloods, but thank God it happened because now people like Arkansas has a chance to shine.
See how far they go. Hopefully
Yeah,
far.
far. I hope we lose before. I hope we can't lose. We got to either lose this Saturday or hope we just don't lose anymore. I don't like having a big old win streak. It makes me nervous.
Oh.
I don't like having
you want to be hot going into the tournament. That's important.
That's good. I mean, that's good because I guess we're not undefeated or anything. We only have we're 20-5, and we play A&M, and that's our last regular season game. It's a rescheduled game actually. Well, our last game was supposed to be last night against South Carolina, but we rescheduled this game coming up this Saturday for Texas A&M. So we'll get to Arkansas in a second, and by a second I mean right now. So Arkansas won 9 in a row this past Saturday. A lot of Arkansas stuff here, so bear with me, people. Arkansas won 9 in a row. They beat LSU 83-75. So I want to point out the game was really close. Like I watched the whole game, and Arkansas. When I was at halftime, Arkansas, the LSU was only down 1, I believe, at half, and then going into the second half, we saw Arkansas do kind of a rebound, and they started playing really pretty good, but it was still pretty tight. But then Will Wade got a technical foul. And our students started chanting, Will Wade sucks. Will. And he just started doing that whole thing. Arkansas won in this huge run. It went up by like 20. And they were up pretty much the rest of the game. I mean, you see it's 83-75. Interesting score. You're sitting here probably, how are they up 20? And they lost. They only won by like 8 points. Arkansas kind of like collapsed in the last 2 minutes, and LSU started banging threes. But we were so far ahead, it was just hopeless for them. And big win for the Hogs, puts them at 9 in a row. But ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't stop there because they laid last night. We recorded this on Wednesday. They beat the University of South Carolina. This one I take personal pride in. We usually stink in Columbia. So I take personal pride in the fact that we beat the Gamecocks in South Carolina. They're a pitiful squad, pitiful individuals on that team. Frank Martin should be canned. The Arkansas Razorbacks just utterly just ripped them to shreds. They took the chicken and they ripped it in half. They put their snout all, whatever. They put their horns in there and they just obliterated them. There's nothing more that they talk about drugs, and like if you listen to people talk about drugs and stuff like that, they say it's the greatest high. My drug is beating the crap. Seeing Arkansas beat the ever-living crap out of South Carolina, that is my drug. And you could say they live rent-free in my side of my head. They don't, but they're a scumbag university that have scumbag students and scumbag players and scumbag everything. So I'm glad to see them lose. They stink. I hate South Carolina. I'm not ashamed to say it. I am unbiased. I'm very unbiased. But I would not say those things if I didn't truly believe them. But I don't believe them. Those are just what I could believe. That everything I just said is what I could believe. I'm a bigger person than that, a better man. So I'm going to say those things about South Carolina could be true. But I'm not saying I'm the better person here.
No, I agree with you.
Any opinion on South Carolina? Arkansas won 101-73 yesterday. Absolute slaughter. Well, I don't think Arkansas hung 100 on anybody. I didn't even think they scored 100 this season. They might have in the very early games.
Yeah, probably.
Before they played anybody good. I mean, just great effort by the Hogs, baby.
I mean, it's always nice to watch South Carolina lose a game. It's fun.
Well, I have to swallow my pride here, and then when we get to at the end of the show, start talking about baseball. Freaking Clemson got swept by South Carolina. So gotta rain on my parade. Maybe I won't talk about it. I guess I just did, but maybe I won't talk. Maybe that's the end of it.
Yeah, that'll be our one mention for today.
But yeah, so Arkansas winners of 10 in a row. Eric Musselman's got the troops growing. He's always electric in his do you ever watch those? He's electric in his like post game, pre game interviews. I'll send you one on Twitter tonight, but
Yeah, send it
the
to
way
me.
he talks, the way he just gets after it with the guys. There was a rumor this week that Minnesota might poach him.
Why would you go to Minnesota?
Minnesota, yeah,
Too
exactly.
cold.
And Arkansas, for all the crap that the state of Arkansas gets, which is a lot, and probably deservingly so, it's kind of not a great state. It's kind of farmy, farm a lot of farmland. Fayetteville is like the pinnacle city in Arkansas. Best college vibe town, beautiful city, big, lot of stuff going on, a lot of college themed stuff going on if you're big into that. So Fayetteville, not a terrible place to live. They are also in the mountains, the Ozark Mountains. So that's also something that's very cool. But that's
Our announcement for today is that me and Trent are moving to Fayetteville.
no, wrong. I would never leave the beautiful coastal waters of South Carolina unless it was for a lot of money. That's the only way I'd leave. If it was a lot of money being offered to me, actually not even a
You
lot.
got
If it was a good
ESPN.
scrap the money, I'm lied. It was a good opportunity that was give me joy in my life, even if it was for a little bit of money, I'd leave. But other than that, I'm not going. I'm not going to Arkansas for free.
Okay. We'll see.
But I went over some 10 in a row. Shout out to Eric Musselman, Moses Moody, Jalen Tate, all those boys, Connor Vanover. Great team. We're gonna keep it rolling against A&M, another really bad SEC team. So we'll see what happens there. Clemson beat Miami this weekend. Any thoughts on that?
Nah,
I think
I mean, it was kind of a routine win. Miami's not very good. They just kind of took care of business. There really wasn't anything
right.
that happened. It was just a routine win, really. It was not a good team, and they won.
I think Clemson's playing tonight, actually. I don't know if they're playing right now. They might be. Oh, they lost. Bum, bum, bum. They lost.
Syracuse.
They lost to Syracuse 64-54.
Oh, man. Oh, well.
They played in the Carrier Dome. It was a big thing today on Pick'ems. I was listening to a lot of Pick'ems today, and they're saying how everybody loves Syracuse and that nobody was riding South Clemson. So a tough loss for the Tigers. Hopefully they'll get it back together and get themselves ready for the ACC tournament. Let's see, I didn't detail what game they have. They play Pittsburgh on Saturday. So this Saturday, Pittsburgh's coming to Clemson.
It shouldn't be too bad.
No, I don't think Pittsburgh.
That should be a win.
Good. We talked about Baylor losing. What else we got? We talked about Michigan. I guess that's about all of the main recaps.
Iowa State or Ohio State lost
Iowa. Yeah.
Well, that was I got blown out too.
Oh, I thought I had that written down in here. There, right there. Ohio State lost to Iowa, another blowout on the top of the Big Ten. Yeah, it was another Michigan versus Illinois game, kind of.
This got much. That's what it felt like.
And I don't know.
Michigan beat Iowa and Ohio State.
I think there's a lot of looking forward to. You know what I mean? Ohio State, Michigan, they're probably like, let's just do this thing.
I don't know. I feel like Ohio State's falling apart. I mean, they lost.
So? Let me look up some.
They're not doing so high right now. Ever since they lost to Michigan, it seems like they're just shut down.
Yeah, they did, and they gained a lot of respect after that loss to Michigan, but they're losing it. So Ohio State, they're down to fifth in the conference, fourth. Sorry, fifth. They're
the record
18-7. Sorry, my dyslexia got to me there for a second, but they're down to fifth in the conference.
Ohio State does have to play Illinois on Saturday.
So oh man, they'll probably lose that one.
There could be a bit of a losing streak coming.
Is it at Illinois?
Let me see. No, it's in Columbus, but Ohio State has currently lost 3 in a row.
Dang, Bo.
Michigan State, Iowa.
I'm telling you, that's why one of the reasons I pointed out Michigan State, because how good they've been playing recently.
Yeah, I think Illinois should be the favorite in that game.
I think they should too, especially coming off that win. They should be the favorite, but if I was to bet the game, I'd bet heavy Ohio State. It just seems like too good of a play. Think about it. You think about Illinois coming off that huge win against Michigan. Michigan was just housing teams. and then they house Michigan. Ohio State losers. No, that's prime Ohio State right there. I'm not
I don't
saying they're
know.
gonna win.
I feel
But
like
they're
Ohio
quick.
State's just they've lost it since they played Michigan. I mean, obviously it's going to be a good game. They're both talented teams.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but if you were for a betting standpoint, I think Illinois probably wins the game. But
If
from
it
a
was a
betting
full
standpoint,
Columbus Stadium or whatever their stadium's called, full Ohio State, I'd
like
probably say Ohio State.
a
But
horseshoe.
uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Ohio State, yeah, that's true. Fans, I was thinking about it today. I was watching a thing on TikTok about. I don't want to steer the boat too off course here, but I was watching a thing about fans, not fans, stadiums today on TikTok, the history of every NFL stadium, and I was watching it, and I was like, you know what? How much of a difference do you think fans could have made this year? And I wonder, like, sit there and think about things. Like, I wonder if Pittsburgh would have lost to Cleveland in the playoffs, probably the way we played. But you never know if they had fans. Maybe the nerves would have gotten to them. Would New Orleans have beaten Tampa Bay in the Superdome if they had fans? Just something to think
fans
about. I don't know.
definitely help when you're a home team. That's why you have a home field advantage.
I mean, Texas A&M literally calls it the 12th man. They
Yeah,
play a pole. They play a role.
it really does. I mean, there's so much. I mean, crowd disruption in terms of plays.
Think about a guy going up to make a game-winning shot. There's a big difference between nothing and a bunch of a bunch of
Exactly.
screaming,
And it
hooping and
puts you in a
hollering.
completely different mindset too. Like you can come out of that if you're home field, you come out and you're like everyone's screaming, shouting, whatever. You don't even have to be a player. You feel it. There's this different mentality to the game. And then if you're an opposing player coming in, you also feel it. And it's kind of like, ooh,
Right.
this isn't great.
Feel anxiety. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a quick little thing for what I still wanted to throw out to
What's
everybody. Think about fans. Um, so a quick look forward. We got Michigan plays Michigan State this weekend. Baylor plays Oklahoma State. Texas plays Oklahoma. Ooh,
That's
Red
tomorrow.
River rivalry. And we got that was Thursday. And then Saturday we got Oklahoma State again. Man, they play a lot. Oklahoma State versus West Virginia. Ohio State versus Illinois, which you talk about. Arkansas versus Texas A&M, slaughter. Clemson versus Pitt. And then Sunday you got Michigan versus Michigan State again. And then you got Texas Tech versus Baylor, which I think will be a good game.
That'll be a fun game too.
So Baylor, that Oklahoma State Baylor game. Let me tell you
It's gonna
something.
be fun.
That's gonna be a good game. I'm
I
gonna
want to
tune into that.
see how Cade does against Baylor.
Hopefully they don't come. I don't get off of work at 9, so hopefully that won't come on until 9. Oh, that in the West region, maybe they'll come on a little later, but
Yeah,
that'll be a good
an
game.
hour difference or whatever.
Actually, I think it's a 2-hour difference. I think it's at Texas Tech. So I think Texas Tech is in that part of Texas that's so far out. It's in
On
the
the other.
West time zone. Yeah. But we'll see though.
I know Baylor is. I don't know about Texas Tech. I don't know where Texas Tech is.
No, Baylor's in the Central time zone because they're in Waco. Yeah, they're more toward Louisiana than New Mexico. Like it's having an east-west. But I think no, Texas Tech's more like toward New Mexico. They're more in the deserty side of Texas. So I don't know. I could be wrong about that. Don't cite me. This isn't a geography class. But that kind of ends the college basketball segment.
Yep.
Been a great slate. We got a lot coming to you. Me and Ryan are going to do a tournament breakdown, and then we're going to do a pick'em, not a pick'em show, but we're going to have a same bracket show, and we'll have a little bracket, and we'll talk about what we got going on, and we'll have a good time. I think I'm excited to see what's in the future for college basketball.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be
All
fun.
right, Ryan, lead us into some recruiting news, Bo.
Yeah. So I'm gonna start with transfer portal real quick. I only have 1 point. Well, actually, I have 2 points with transfer portal. One is Arik. I think it's Gilbert. Let me just double check that. I don't want to. Yep, Arik Gilbert. I knew I had it right. He was a former 5-star recruit as a tight end out of Georgia. Went to LSU last year as a true freshman. Played pretty well. It's kind of one of the few positives really for LSU last year. A while back, we had talked about how he put himself in transfer portal and then he committed to Florida.
Florida, okay.
So what happened is apparently his grades did not meet the Florida standard, and there's apparently a lot of other stuff going on behind the
How
scenes.
bad do your grades have to be to get to
His
college?
GPA is apparently a 1.5.
Ooh.
So he doesn't
Somebody help this
qualify.
man out. This guy can make millions of
Um,
dollars one day, Bo.
So he's not qualifying, and he's decommitted from Florida, and it sounds like he's probably going to have to go JUCO.
Yeah,
So
you can't get anywhere with a 1.5. That's terrible.
it's
I wasn't even that dumb.
I don't even think
How are
Tennessee.
you passing? I don't think that's what is that like all D's?
I guess so.
He's good at football. The school should just give him good grades anyway. That's what they did with me.
So they did in South Carolina did that for a little bit.
And North Carolina, remember North Carolina had that scam where they were getting the test or whatever?
Yeah.
So
Fun
come
stuff.
on, man.
Fun
It's like
stuff.
Charles Barkley said, they had a segment on TNT, that TNT basketball show.
Yeah.
And they asked how everybody did in college. And Shaq was like, I did good. I got my doctors. Ernie did good. Kenny was really smart. And they asked Shaq not Charles Barkley, how he did in high school. And he was like, I was good at basketball. I was going to get into college. It didn't matter. So I should do the same thing with this guy. He's good at football. Put him through. What's wrong with y'all?
Grades for you.
This guy's going to make millions of dollars. You can't give an A, fake an A on his test. Lord have mercy. That's crazy. I mean, good Lord.
It's what's happening apparently.
Maybe there is no cheating in football or basketball. Maybe it's just all honest and we're just seeing something, or maybe, I don't know.
Unless you have McDonald's money bags.
Yeah. Somebody
Or you give them a
gave
car.
the teachers a McDonald's money bag to give him an A+ on his test. That's crazy.
Gotta go to Tennessee. That's where you gotta go.
Yeah.
The other one is Clemson transfer news.
Yeah. Explain this to me. This blew my mind when I saw
So
it.
starting cornerback or defensive back, if you want to get technical with it, Darion Kendrick.
I thought he was really good.
He is really good, but he got released. So Dabo Sweeney kicked him off the team.
They cut him.
He's apparently had some disciplinary issues last season. I think he missed 2 or 3 games due to disciplinary issues. And so I guess it just hit the final straw. And so Dabo's decided to remove him from the team. He has since entered the transfer portal. We don't know where he's going to go. But he's very talented, former 5-star wide receiver who switched to defensive back. Very talented. I mean, if you look back at the Clemson games, he has some games where he's fantastic. He also has some games, Ohio State, where he just got blown out every single time.
Yeah, he got torched in Ohio. I think he got torched in the LSU game too a couple years ago.
Yeah, but he's no longer with the team.
Wow.
There's a bunch of talent behind him at quarterback for Clemson, so it's not too worrying. I think the most important thing about him leaving is depth. Clemson currently only has 6 scholarship cornerbacks at this moment. They're all very talented, 4 stars to 5 stars, but I mean, I don't think it's going to be that impactful in Clemson's season just because you still have 6. But those younger guys are going to get a lot of minutes. Especially
there's going to be a lot of rotations coming in and out.
Yeah. So it sucks that Darion's no longer with us. I liked him. I thought he was a fun player. He got blown out sometimes, but he was a good player.
Sometimes, but he was good against like crappy ACC opponents. Yeah. Everybody's good against them, though. So who knows?
So he's no longer with Clemson. He's moved on. A plus for Clemson, though, that I really wanted to touch on is
I saw this
Clemson,
as well. This is big.
Yeah, Clemson got a quarterback recruit commitment. They missed out on Ty Simpson, who decided to go to Alabama. He was the 5-star that we were after. We missed out on him. Immediately after we, sent a scholarship offer to Cade Klubnik. He's won the last 2 state 6A championships in Texas. He's pretty good. He's a high 4-star recruit. They have him listed as a professional passer, not a dual threat, even though if you look at his stuff, he is running all the time. His play style really reminds me of Chad Kelly.
That's what somebody said. a non-problematic Chad Kelly. I saw that
And
somewhere.
a more mature Chad
Yeah,
Kelly.
that's true.
His arm, just the way he throws the ball, his arm strength, the way he, when he runs, how he runs, it's very reminiscent of Chad Kelly. He doesn't have his arm has some growing to do. He needs to work on his arm talent. Clemson can help get him there, especially maybe for a couple of years behind DJ. But it's a big pickup. He's a great quarterback. I think last year he threw over 4,000 yards and for 50 touchdowns. Just last year as a junior. So he's very talented. I'm excited for him. I'm excited to see what he's going to do with us.
He's still got his senior year left?
He's still got his senior year left. Yep. He'll be a 2022 recruit.
So by then, DJ will be a junior, if he's any good. Or is he DJ redshirted last year or no?
So no, I think DJ played too many games to redshirt.
Oh, they lost it.
Technically, since it was a COVID year, he could take that extra year, but DJ is going to be too good. He's gonna be
so I don't think that guy. I was thinking about it, like that guy might have to sit a while, but I don't think he's got to worry about that too much.
He'll have to sit 1 to 2 years. That's not bad. I mean, he'll break out.
Maybe even 1, because DJ could leave next year.
Yeah, DJ's going to be.
You only have to sit behind him for 1 year. When he's a junior, DJ will probably go like they all do.
Yeah.
So
it's exciting. But I just kind of wanted to go over very quickly. They've been starting to predict where players are going to go. So I have a list. I'm going to run through this.
I like how Arkansas has 1
out of the top 300.
Totally upsets.
Out of the top 300.
Oh, still, that's not great. 1 guy though. Shout out to us.
So
we're not Oklahoma, but
yeah. So I'm just talking about the players who are predicted to go to Oklahoma, Clemson, and Arkansas, and players who've already committed to Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Clemson. So I'm just going over that real quick. For Oklahoma, Jake Taylor, 4-star offensive tackle. Austin Jordan, 4-star cornerback. Moron Horn, 4-star cornerback. Jacob Sexton, 4-star offensive tackle. Chase Biddle, 4-star safety. Brandon Thompson, 4-star athlete. Derek Moore, 4-star defensive end. Omari Abor, 4-star defensive end. Gavin Sawchuk, 5-star running back. Gentry Williams, 5-star athlete, so he can play both sides of the ball. Gabriel Brownlow Dindy is a 5-star defensive end. And for Oklahoma, the people who have committed so far are Jordan Hudson, 4-star wide receiver. Kobe McKenzie, 4-star linebacker. Talon Shetron, 4-star wide receiver. Raleek Brown, 5-star running back. Luther Burden, also 5-star wide receiver. Moving on to Clemson, committed, they have Blake Miller, 4-star offensive tackle. Adam Randall, 4-star wide receiver. Colin Sadler, 4-star offensive tackle. We talked about Clay Klubnik. And then predicted Clemson, and these are just all the top 300. There's other players underneath that are probably going to commit.
Right.
Clemson's predicted to get Travis Shaw as a 5-star defensive tackle. Jaden Lucas is a 4-star cornerback. Jalen Walker, 4-star linebacker. Kenyatta Jackson, 4-star defensive end, but we're 50-50 with Ohio State, so he could go to Clemson or Ohio State. Gunnar Givens, 4-star offensive tackle. Toronto Pride is a 4-star cornerback. And then moving on to Arkansas. Arkansas does not have any commits in the top 300 at this moment, but I do have a predicted commit. And Emarian Harris, which is a 4-star offensive. That's your recruiting news for today.
That was a mouthful.
Yeah, definitely a lot. Not all these players are going to come to these specific schools. Most likely, a lot of changes will be happening.
I wish I could start watching more recruiting stuff. How do you feel about it? I feel like that would be a lot of fun.
Well, that's why you got me here for it.
If you ever go to any YouTube videos, send me the clips and stuff like that of these guys' highlight tapes or whatever.
I'll send them to you.
This Cade Klubenik, Chad Kelly 2.0.
Mature Chad Kelly.
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, we better be mature if he's going to God's place, Clemson, South Carolina. We're good recruit news, though. I'm really liking that. Um, I've got some special announcement I want to do later on. Later on, not now.
Okay.
Next episode, I'll let y'all know. We'll release it next week.
Cool.
I wanted to go over this real fast. I kind of skipped this. I kind of forgot about it. This is a seating list for college basketball real fast, so I want to cover that before we get into
Yeah,
FCS
go for it.
football.
Before we get to football.
Some of note. This came out before the Baylor game. I'm not going to read them all. I think I'm just going to note what I think's important and what I think's not. Gonzaga's number 1 seed still. Baylor probably moved to number 2, and Michigan moved to number 3. I'd imagine. Illinois probably going to stay at 4. Arkansas is at 13 now, and if they win against Texas A&M, and I bet you if they win,
13 seed.
No, 4 seed, 13 ranked. They're a 4 seed right now. A lot of people are predicting Arkansas can make it to a 3 or even a 2. With if they win the SEC tournament,
I
they
was going to say 2. I thought they were higher.
No, they're a 4 right now. But that's that this is all from Saturday. This is from Sunday stuff. Monday, technically. This came out on Monday.
I think they'll make a 2 seed.
If they win the SEC tournament, I could definitely see them move. They got to beat Alabama though.
If they win the SEC tournament, I think they make a 1 seed. I think they make that final 1 seed.
No way.
Who else? You got Michigan.
They'll give it to Illinois.
You got Gonzaga. Who else?
They'll give it to Illinois or something. Arkansas is not that good.
Illinois is not going to win.
Relax, buddy. No, don't get me too excited. You'll get me all hot and heavy up in here.
Arkansas has less losses.
Clemson's the 7th seed right now. I think deservingly so. I don't think Clemson's a good basket. I don't know what to think about them.
They're scraping by against bad.
That's what they do. They don't win. See, Arkansas puts on a show and they win pretty good. Clemson, man, they just beat the crap out of you until you're just out of it.
They scrape.
They scrape and claw. I don't think there's anything else. Michigan State is in the first 4 out. So was Duke before their loss to Georgia Tech. Winthrop is projected to win their conference tournament.
Go Winthrop.
James Madison is expected to win on the CAA. That's what College of Charleston is, so they'll get their automatic bid. And I don't think that's anything else.
What's Oklahoma?
Oklahoma. Right now, Oklahoma, I'm trying to find them on here. Hold on. Purdue Creighton. Now, Oklahoma's a 5 seed, number 19. Remember, that was after the loss to Oklahoma State, though.
Yeah.
Both of them. So it kind of makes
sense. Texas tomorrow, so we got a chance to redeem ourselves.
Yeah, and Loyola Chicago's in there. Actually, I was wrong early in the show already. Maybe I'll edit it out. North Carolina's a friggin' 10 seed.
Really?
Yeah, Connecticut's a 10 seed as well. UConn.
Yeah. Honestly, UConn's men's haven't been around as much recently as they used to be.
Look at you remember that Grand Canyon University?
Yeah.
They're a 15 seed. How about that, huh?
The Antelopes or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. It's a weird name. But the last 4 in, they're not as interesting as you think. There's like Nicholls State, Bryant, North Carolina A&T, and Prairie View. They're not like what? So, but that's what's going on in the end of the college basketball bracket. So obviously we'll have a new show coming up. So let's talk a little FCS football, Ryan.
All righty. So I think we should talk about the biggest thing that happened this past weekend, and that was North Dakota State.
Oh, I was ready for it. I was getting ready to fight, Ryan.
We'll get there. So North Dakota State, as we kind of mentioned earlier, had a 39-game winning streak, which is the most in FCS history. It's very impressive. Several years long, not losing a game, winning multiple national championships in a row. I don't know how many they've won in a row at this point. They got beat down. I
watched the highlights
by Southern Illinois.
This is the one FCS game I actually sat down when I watched most of the highlight video. I kind of sent through from it and stuff like that. But this game right here, they beat the brakes off of North Dakota State.
Yeah. It wasn't even a contest.
Oh, and their quarterback looked bad. He was just throwing picks. They were fumbling. Their defense was getting torched. I don't want to just blame the offense now, but the defense was getting torched too, man. It was a
They
disaster.
played awful. I think North Dakota State has a good running back, but when you're getting blown out, you're not
It don't
going to
matter. You
rely
can't
on
run
the
the
run
ball.
game.
Yeah, you can't run the
You got
ball.
to pass it, and their quarterback, he's just not able to, live up to what Trey Lance, their former quarterback, was, and he's going to be a first round draft pick. I'm a little worried for North Dakota State. What do you think?
I'm not worried. That'd be all right. I think
mean,
I'm not trying to jump around on your list. But looking at it, what I'm looking at here, I think James Madison, you wrote here, they should be number one. I think they should be number one too. They're so impressive.
They're good.
Yeah, they're a good football team, James Madison.
Good.
I think they are too, man.
Yep. So North Dakota State lost 38-14. Moving on to James Madison. James Madison beat Robert Morris 36-16. They had a little bit of a slow start, but they finished really strong. They pounded Robert Morris. I think they're the best team. Currently, at least looking at what we've currently seen, I think they're the best team. And then moving on, let's see. Kind of the biggest game, I think, in terms of ranked versus ranked teams was South Dakota State versus North Dakota. Not North Dakota State, North Dakota.
I actually messaged you.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe North Dakota won or what I lost or whatever. Yeah. And you're like, which one? And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? But now looking at this, I guess you had good reason to think that because apparently they're both kind of going for it. Is North Dakota any good?
Apparently. I mean, so South Dakota State.
I always thought it was just those two. It was North Dakota State and South Dakota State. Those are the only two I heard of. But I'm looking at this thing right here. There's a North Dakota and a South Dakota.
Yeah, there's South Dakota.
Are those the two rivalry teams? North Dakota, because the rivalry I always thought was North Dakota State versus South Dakota State.
Yep.
Now it's probably going to be North Dakota State versus North Dakota. The Dakotas are really going at it.
Is North Dakota the best Dakota team?
Yeah, the people are asking whether North Dakota is better than North Dakota.
People are asking.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, North Dakota beats South Dakota State, who was ranked number, I think, 2 or 3. I can't remember which. I mean, North Dakota is going to be in the top 10 now. I mean, that's pretty cool. South Dakota State's quarterback is very good. I was very impressed watching him. He's a freshman, Mark Gronowski. He played really well. His receivers really let him down. Like, he would literally hit them in the numbers, in the hands, and they would drop him.
I bet they did catch and drills all week.
Oh, I'm sure. But I think South Dakota State is a very good team. You good?
Yeah, some weird car just drove by. Yeah, go ahead. You good?
I think South Dakota State's a very good team. I think they'll be around at the end of the tournament. But North Dakota got to win. I mean, who knows? Maybe they're the best Dakota. Who knows?
What about Illinois State? I want to do these. I want to do the big games, and then we can cover all the crappy stuff.
Yeah, we'll get the South Carolina crappy game. Number 7, Illinois State got upset by South Dakota. Illinois State blew a 17-0 lead and lost 27-20. It was.
Let me tell you something. When I learned from my little bit of FCS football talk, the North and South Dakota, are the SEC of FCS football. There are just so many. If North Dakota is Alabama, South Dakota is probably like Louisiana or Texas or Oklahoma, one of those big teams, whatever the next best team.
It's great. I mean, yeah, it's the Dakota's world apparently. They're just living in it.
Yeah, that's right.
So also Nicholls State, who should be moving up into the top 10 of the FCS rankings. Their last game they played last week, they won 87-3, and then their
anything else possible.
Weekend, I know it's crazy. This past weekend they beat Lamar 55-0. So they might be a team to watch out for as well.
Nicholls State, I think, fun fact. I went to a guy. I could be wrong about this. I probably need to look this up. But I think Nicholls State is located in Louisiana.
Really?
And yeah, and I had a guy who grew up right outside Nickel State. Fun fact for you, but just interesting little fact.
Fun facts. Just breaking them on. Um, and then Jackson State game got postponed, most likely due to COVID. So they did not play this past weekend. So, but they should be playing this upcoming weekend. So we'll talk about that a little bit though. Wofford lost to Chattanooga.
Oh yeah. Go ahead and get your one out.
They were very disappointing. They lost 24-13. They just didn't look very good. It was kind of.
I feel like there's no way to gauge these teams, man. Like, how do we know if Chattanooga's any good or not?
I don't think they are.
So you're saying that it was not oof.
There was a lot. Wofford made a lot of mistakes, and then they run a triple option. So when you get down, it's really hard to get back up. You know.
We all run that in the FCS. What's the deal? Run something else.
They can't get a quarterback.
They can get somebody. Come on. You got to be a little better than you can get somebody who can throw the rock around.
You'd think so, but Wofford lost Chattanooga. It was not pretty. And then
the Citadel next.
Here's the fun game. I really enjoyed this game. It was so much fun.
I can't believe you support South Carolina teams losing. It really shows your unfaithfulness to our state. Even though I went on a rant 30 minutes ago about how I hate the scumbag, how some people say the scumbag university, how people in South Carolina is a scumbag university. Not me. I'm a bigger person, better person. Some people do say that, though.
I do like Furman. I think they're a wonderful school up in Greenville. However, I like to be right. And I was right. Furman, I was correct. I thought they were overrated.
Congrats, Ryan.
They lost to VMI 14-13. They didn't look that great.
Maybe VMI's a good school. You don't know.
No, they're not.
How do you know?
I know.
I don't think you do.
Not to the hand. But Furman were driving in the final minute. They were in field goal range, and they fumbled the snap to lose the game.
Yeah, I saw that they had that's crazy.
They fumbled the snap to lose the game.
Dummies. All I needed them to do was be a bad VMI team, and they couldn't do that. I should have never put my faith into a team that runs the triple option. And all the South Carolina teams run it. Furman runs the triple option, right?
Yep.
So they're all scumbag schools. Everybody except Clemson, Coastal Carolina, and the College of Charleston are scumbag schools. And that means
I don't know about College of Charleston right now. I think they're going to have a poor season.
And what? Basketball?
No, football.
College of Charleston?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought you said
Southern, you mean?
Charleston Southern.
I was about to say we had football since 1913, Ryan.
But that's all of our recap for last week in the FCS.
Wait, there was one more. The Citadel. You didn't talk about that one. Lost to Mercer.
Oh yeah, Citadel lost to Mercer 42-28. They also run a triple option.
I saw somebody say something about Furman and Citadel. Somebody quote tweeted them of both of them losing real bad, and somebody said, "These teams play FBS football teams regularly." I was like, "That's really something when you think about it. These guys stink."
And one of those FBS teams they play is Clemson.
And Citadel beat South Carolina a couple years ago.
That was a fun game.
I didn't say that. You said that. That was not me.
I will be on record. That was a fun game.
It was a good game, wasn't it?
Ryan Gunn.
Right. Yeah, quote Ryan Gunn. That was a fun game.
That was a fun game. So this upcoming week, we got a lot of good games. A lot of different conferences are starting, so it's going to be fun. Rivalry game to start off, North Dakota versus South Dakota. Not the states, just North Dakota versus South Dakota. I'll be curious to see what happens. South Dakota just got an upset. I mean, they both got upsets. They're both going to be ranked. It's going to be a fun game. I'm curious to see what happens.
Knowing what's going on in South Dakota and North Dakota, they got probably 100% capacity stadiums too out there.
Probably.
So like a real football game out there.
It's going to be a real game.
Real men.
Wofford plays Eastern Tennessee State. I guess that's probably going to be a win. I've never heard of Eastern Tennessee State,
We just
but
have no clue. There's too many. The problem is there's too many FCS teams, and nobody covers them. Even though I think they should. First of all, we're having football in the spring, and nobody. This is the only podcast that I know anybody talks about FCS football, and that's crazy. This is entertaining. These games are entertaining,
fun. I'm enjoying it.
especially all the Dakotas. The Dakotas all just scream the crap out of each other. That's entertaining stuff. Especially James Madison's always fun. North Dakota State, that was a great game. I know the football talent's kind of not great, but I don't know. But anyway, go ahead, continue. Sorry.
Furman's going to be playing Samford, who just came off a big win against Western Carolina. Presbyterian, the Blue Hose, are going to be playing Gardner-Webb.
That's a South Carolina game, isn't it?
It's barely South Carolina, but it's a South Carolina game.
But Gardner-Webb is in Greenville, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or is it Rock Hill? No, that's where
They're not in South Carolina. Presbyterian.
I thought Gardner-Webb was in South Carolina. No? Oh, whatever.
Big game for Jackson State. They're going to play Grambling. That'll probably be their biggest game of the season. Grambling's a pretty good team. They're probably one of the better
one everybody said that Jackson State
black colleges.
They always they're the ones that they said they were talking about pregame Jackson State kind of stuff. Grambling was the one that always controls their conference.
Yeah, Grambling and Alcorn State. But Grambling, I think will be Jackson State's biggest opponent. So I'm really curious to see how that game turns out. The Citadel will play Chattanooga, who just came off beating Wofford. So we'll see how it's not looking great for the Citadel right now. The Richmond Spiders are going to be playing the William and Mary Tribe. Richmond in the past has been
shout out to my buddy. He goes to William and Mary.
He goes to the Tribe.
Yeah.
Richmond in the past has been something of a powerhouse. I wouldn't maybe
Richmond Spiders right there. Where are they from?
Richmond,
Virginia.
Yeah.
Oh, must be thinking about a different team.
They're a pretty good team. I'd say Richmond has a good chance there. And the team I think that should be ranked number 1 overall coming into this week, James Madison. We're playing Elon. It should be an easy win for James Madison.
Pound them.
South Dakota State plays Western Illinois. It should be an easy game for South Dakota State. South Carolina State is going to be playing this upcoming weekend. They're going to be playing Howard.
Okay, the Bulldogs.
No idea how either of those teams are going to be.
The only
either of them are any good. I have no information on either of these teams. Jacksonville State.
Isn't that the Gamecocks, right?
The Jacksonville Gamecocks are playing the Tennessee State Tigers. Former Clemson.
Gamecocks versus the Tigers. Yeah. Is that why you put that in there?
What was that?
Is that why you put that in there? Tigers versus Gamecocks?
The only reason I put it in there is because Jacksonville State is a ranked team, and they have Zariq Cooper, who's a former Clemson quarterback. Transferred to the Gamecocks.
He's probably having flashbacks to playing Carolina now. He's probably like, man, we're going Tigers versus Gamecocks again. Here we go.
Oh, yeah, here we go. And then the last game I want to mention is North Dakota State, who just lost, will be playing Missouri State, who's kind of a poor team. So it might be a
one fact about Missouri State. Tell me who their head coach is. But you can't.
Missouri State?
Yeah, I'll give you $10 who you can name me their coach right now.
I have no idea. Oh, well, okay. Is it Chad Morris?
No.
No? Okay, I don't know.
That's your one guess? Bobby Petrino, the head coach of Missouri State. Yeah, the Missouri State Bears. I think that's them.
Yeah,
if that's them. Then he's the head coach. Yeah, how do you feel about that?
That's some history right there.
But yeah, I thought that was a fun fact. So that wraps up, though?
That's all the upcoming games for FCS that are kind of note. I do want to mention that Charleston Southern will be playing next week. I think they kick off on the 13th.
Man, that was some good information. I'm pretty happy with FCS football. I'm not doing anything this weekend. This is the first weekend in weeks. I'm not doing anything. So I'm just planning to sit my big butt down, watch as much football, as much FCS football, basketball. I'm planning on having every computer. I'm planning on having 4 computers around the house. I'm just gonna be watching football. It's gonna be a good time. I'm looking
It'll be a
forward.
fun time.
All right, as we wrap up the show here, I'm just gonna cover a quick baseball news. And then I'm gonna talk about Arkansas one more time, and then we're gonna end it. So Clemson lost to South Carolina this week.
Twice.
The first game was 3-2. The second game was 8-7. What are you gonna do, right? And then Arkansas swept this past weekend. Arkansas swept Southeast Missouri State, and it's ranked number 1 in the country.
We're big.
We are number 1. And so this weekend, Clemson plays Notre Dame 3-game series. Arkansas plays Murray State 3-game series as well. You have some Oklahoma beat Auburn and Baylor over the weekend.
Yep, Oklahoma beat Auburn, Baylor, lost Texas A&M.
Man, A&M's a good basketball team. And Arizona's pretty good usually too, I think.
Yeah, Arizona's pretty good. I believe they're ranked. They play Arizona next on a doubleheader, so we'll see how that goes.
All right, well, there's your quick college baseball. There's a lot of sports to watch. Maybe Friday night I'll sit down and try to watch the Arkansas Razorbacks play some college baseball. I got to get ESPN Plus. I was looking at it today. I need ESPN Plus bad. Do you have ESPN Plus?
Yeah.
Yeah, I need it bad. You want to give me your password on air right now?
Right now, okay, everybody.
Everybody can have it. But I need to get that bad because it's unbelievable how many games. ESPN had a tournament today, a basketball tournament I wanted to watch, logged behind ESPN Plus. Like it's a small school now, like the Atlantic 10 or something crazy. But still, I was like, you can't be kidding me here. Anyway, the last segment of the show, right before we wrap it up, I'm going to go through how many teams right now Arkansas has ranked in polls all around in sports. This is every sport that we have. Are you ready for this? We're number 1 in baseball. We're number 1 in women's track and field. We're number 1 in women's cross country. We're number 3 in men's track and field. Number 3 in men's cross country. Number 8 in gymnastics. Number 12 in men's basketball. Number 12 in men's golf. Number 13 in women's basketball. Number 13 in women's golf. Number 15 in softball. 15 in soccer. 20 in swimming and diving. And 24 in tennis. Arkansas is good at every single sport except football. They stink at every other sport. I mean, they're great at every sport except football. They stink at football. It's a real shame because you look at that, we're ranked in every sport.
Maybe this next year will be the year.
Maybe football and volleyball, fall sports, are a disaster. I sent you that. Did I send you that one thing on Twitter? Arkansas has won their men's track and field SEC indoor championship. Did I send you that?
I saw that, yeah.
24 out of the 30 years, they just won it like this past Saturday. And they won it 24 out of the 30 years that we have been in that conference because we joined in 1991. So it's right. It's 2021, right? I always forget the year.
It's the year.
2021. Oh my God, I'm getting old. That's a remarkable stat. Remarkable. Unbelievable stat.
I'm going to throw out a completely people probably don't care about this fun little tidbit of knowledge, but I did want to mention that Clemson is the number 1 team in college men's soccer.
Arkansas does not have a men's soccer program.
They do not, which is shameful. Shame.
Well, I'm actually not that upset about it.
Shame.
Now, Clemson's always been good at men's soccer, though. That's one thing I've noticed about covering them recently, probably the past couple of years, is that they have been dominant in men's soccer.
Good.
I think they hosted the ACC. I think they lost it. I could be wrong about that.
They won last year's.
Oh, they won last year's? They won the ACC championship or whatever? I think they hosted it. But
kind of. It was like,
oh no, it was in Charlotte, I think. Because my buddies went. Anyway, that's irrelevant. But this is the end of the episode. This is probably, it's not the funniest of episodes, but if you want information and sports knowledge, This was a purely, from me and Ryan, purely sports knowledge episode. So if you like sports, man, this is the episode for you. We were hitting our P's and Q's today, people. We weren't playing around today. We had research. Yeah, we did a lot of research, a lot of stats, a lot of watching. And I think next week's going to be even bigger. So I want to get a couple dates for you. March the 14th. No, wrong. March 14th, 15th, 16th. March 16th. I had to count in my head. We're looking for the NCAA, which is a Tuesday. I'm going to make sure when the tournament starts, I'm going to try to get the episode out before the third Tuesday. But look out for an episode detailing our brackets, tournament talk, just that kind of stuff. So we're going to come out with an episode in that week. We'll also have another episode. So look out for that as well. So that'll be a bunch of interesting stuff. So we're going to have a lot of stuff coming out, a couple basketball shows, especially hitting it hard. This is an important time for us. If we claim to be a college podcast, this is college time. And this is the time for college sports. This is maybe the second biggest thing. I would argue, personally, March Madness is the second biggest sporting event in college, and Lord, if I get the daggum words out, in sports, period. I think the Super Bowl is number one, and I would put March Madness second. I don't think NCAA, and you can argue the national championship in college football, but I don't think it's as big now that the same kind of jokers are always in it, since it's always Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State. I think it's lost a little bit of flavor. I definitely don't think the NBA finals are that big anymore. They've kind of collapsed recently. Major League Baseball World Series. Maybe if it got to like a game 7, but for the most part, the MLB playoffs aren't as big. I really do think March Madness is the second biggest sporting event that we have here in the United States. So we're going to be covering it. We're going to be all over it. Check us out. Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, wherever you check us out and check what we're talking about. Look at us and check us out on social media. We're going to be posting all kind of content, people. So listen up, like, share, subscribe, follow to all your peoples. This is a big time for us. Get the word out about the Trenton and Ryan Sports Show, the TNR show. That's it. Ryan, any last thoughts? Or are we good to go?
I think we're good to go. I got my Clemson soccer tidbit out.
All right. This is the end of the show. Bye.